Hi, and welcome back to this episode of Archicad Basic Training. In this episode, we're going to discuss how to use the section marker, um, and let's jump right in. So let's go back and look at um, our sample project here. And so I've already placed a few section markers. So with these section markers, you have a number of settings, and it's easy to get lost in how many different options that you have within these section markers. But a good rule is to kind of start with what the basic or kind of stock settings are. So when you click on, so the section marker tool is in the toolbox, and it's in under document, and if you pull out this flyout, you have two different section markers that have been favorited by Graphisoft's design team, and so you can click on those and you can get a basic section marker, and this information will auto-populate once you place the view onto a drawing, and I'll show you what that means in a second. So this is what you get right away when you use the out-of-the-box section marker tool that has been favorited. So it's pretty pretty good, and so I like to use whatever comes from within kind of the Archicad box natively, and modify it from there, unless I already have a specific desired look that I'm going for my drawings. So a little bit about the section marker itself. It has the ability to be split into multiple kind of legs, or it can jog through, and you just click on that black node and it will allow you to modify where it's being cut. So if we look at this crazy section marker, we'll have, different pieces that are at different cut planes. And so let's just go back. So there are a lot of things that you can do with these section markers. And I would just, experiment with it a little bit. And so let's just look at this for a little bit. So what I just did is I took it off of one of the pen sets, or sorry, yeah, one of the pen sets I have set up for this right now was just kind of looking a little bit different than I wanted it to. But again, so let's open up the settings. So you have the ID here. You have what the name of that section is. So I usually kind of name my sections with something more than section. It can be a source marker, which means it's coming from the location that you're cutting it from. It can be a linked marker, which means that it's coming from a specific location that you want to define. So if I wanted that section marker actually to be from some other section marker or from an elevation or something else, I could actually set it so that it references that. And then there's another option. So it can be an unlinked marker. So if you don't want it to be a parametric object, you can set it there and make it so it's just a marker by itself. That comes in handy if you've created the drawing in some other format, or it's disconnected and you've kind of moved beyond the parametric aspects of it. Then you can just make it so it's an unlinked marker, and if you do that, then it's totally disconnected. So we'll go back to source marker because yep, it doesn't like it when I've done that. So let's go back. So you can also set it to be how that this naming convention works. You can set it so that it's from a specific drawing, that's where you want. So you've placed it on a certain drawing, you want that section marker to reflect that it's coming from A102 and it's number 3 on that drawing. I don't think there's any actually saved in here right now. So you can also have it go to the first placed location or the first selected drawing. So if you have a drawing that's referencing, if you have a detail that's referencing multiple different locations, you can have it be pulled from that specific location. And this is telling you what the view properties are going to look like. And then since it hasn't been placed yet, it's saying that it doesn't really have a, it's not referencing anything. You can also have it be a manual building section or an automatic building section or a drawing. So what this means, let's just use the drawing for now. So when it's a drawing, you can open it up and everything has been converted into lines. But now if I go back and I convert it to so if I go back and open the current, if I go back and I adjust what that this settings are, so if I go from drawing to auto rebuild, let's just go back to manual rebuild. So I'm going from drawing to manual rebuild. Now if I go back here and open this up, it's showing up as a drawing, but if I click, I can tell it I want it to rebuild from the model or rebuild in general. So if I make adjustments, not like that, if I make adjustments to, let's just move this wall. So if I open this up, nothing should change. So that wall's in the same place, even though I've moved it. So basically it's like a partially parametric object, or it's a parametric object that just hasn't been updated. So if I go over here and I say rebuild from model, then it'll adjust it based on that current location. So let's just go back, and then now if I say selection, go back to section selection set, and then I go to auto rebuild and I open it, it's going to automatically put it back where it was, and then anything that I do on the floor plan will automatically reflect there. And with that, let's take a break and join me in the next lesson where we'll continue to talk more about sections and the section marker tool.